Welcome back, brothers. There was one thing I forgot to mention in my last video about haplogroups, and that's, do you brothers know that the reason they consider the Neanderthal extinct is because in modern humans they cannot find any trace of the Neanderthal's Y chromosome. So in other words, the Neanderthal's Y chromosome in the modern population no longer exists. Therefore, they consider that species extinct, if you even consider a Neanderthal a species. There are some theories that it's simply an older race. And I will say, when you examine the anatomy of the Neanderthal in comparison to the Homo sapien, there really isn't much of a distinct difference that you wouldn't find between two different racial groups. But the key principle there that I want to touch on is that they do consider a species extinct when its Y chromosome is no longer detectable in modern populations. Neanderthal DNA still exists in tiny amounts in the mitochondrial DNA. That's why they can detect that certain races still have a certain percentage of Neanderthal DNA. But that male Y chromosome is gone. So I say all that to say, this is not just some fringe theory I came up with. This is science. This is actual fact on how they declare what's extinct and the construct that determines lineages. So it's scientific fact that it's more important for us as black men to be reproducing in general versus whatever Keisha decides to do out here. We are the sole keepers of the race and the lineage ultimately. And brothers, mainstream society is never going to teach you this, because mainstream society is constructed around trying to make you a bit part in your own story. This is your story. That's why everywhere you look, even science, everything always comes back to us. I don't know if you brothers had a chance to check out AC's latest video, but right here is how they want you. Sitting in the cuck chair, letting BAPS 2.0 run wild on brothers. I don't even know why this brother had the chessboard in the visual here, because I didn't see any chess moves being made. I don't see any kings in this court. I don't see any black men stepping up and seeking rulership here. And that is by design. So many brothers, especially that over 40 crowd, I don't know how old this brother is to be fair, but a lot of brothers traditionally brought up in black female dominated households are taught that being a man is sitting down in the cuck chair, not saying a word, and taking Keisha's abuse. They wrongfully see that as a sign of being a man, and that is part of the design, so that you view yourself as a subordinate instead of a leader. Meanwhile, your real opponent, Brad, is being taught this right here, and I will always lean on this channel as long as YouTube allows it to be up. This is a peek into Brad's real psyche. There's PR front-facing Brad, and then behind the scenes, this is what a lot of these Brads believe. And look at this right here. Identity is better than morality. So in other words, as long as Brad is getting what he needs out of life and his people are fine, he doesn't care what happens to everybody else. That's the true game Brad's playing. It's not about equality for him. It's about power. And look at this right here. Morality is for friends only. So in other words, this Brad is probably cool with what those other Brads were trying to do to that island off the coast of Haiti. Because hey, it's not Brad's, so I guess it's fair game. Who cares if it's violence against kids, women, and black men? None of that matters as long as Brad gets to seize power. That's what they're teaching each other behind the scenes. And lastly, we have this gem, the meaning of life. And we have an image of Brad holding a gun, I'm assuming with the intention of imposing his force upon the world in order to keep Becky sequestered away so that she can produce offspring for him. That's the end game for Brad. That's all it's ever been about. keeping his numbers up so that white supremacy can keep going. There is no Jesus Christ in this video. There is no morality being preached here. All of that is a smokescreen. This is what Brad is really about. So brothers, again, this cannot be us. It's time to get out of the cuck chairs and start actually living like that chessboard suggests. But now, moving on to the true purpose of this video. A brother had stated in the comments a while ago, and rightfully so, he said, your username's kind of wild, And it is. It's meant to be an homage to Max Headroom. If you didn't know, a TV station in the UK got hijacked in 1987, and this character, fictional character, was really a Brad in a mask, popped up. And I don't know what this Brad was trying to say when he hijacked the station, and I don't really care. The point is, Max Headroom was interrupting the UK's regularly scheduled programming, and that's what I like to believe I'm doing on this channel. I'm interrupting you brothers' regularly scheduled programming. Because it's not 1987 anymore, most of our media is consumed via the internet now on a phone, computer, tablet, however you brothers are watching. So, with that being said, this is now your regularly scheduled programming. And as you can see, it's the same message over and over again. Red pill is dying. Red pill is dying. This is no different than the traditional network television days where you would have satellite branches of media stations all broadcasting scripted messages handed down to them to their respective local areas. Nowadays, the algorithm works the same way. So you've got many faces communicating a shared message to their respective audiences. This is programming, brothers. And to be honest with you, I don't believe red pill's dead. I don't believe black pill's dead. I actually think a lot of talking points from those ideologies have become mainstream now to the point where people don't even associate them with red and black pill anymore. It's very similar to how when we look at a 40-hour work week and we look at paid time off and we look at sick pay, we don't look at those as socialism anymore. Those are just agreed upon things that mainstream society has adopted. But the root of those concepts came from socialism. A similar thing is happening now with red and black pill. For example, most young men have a negative perception of being a stepdad. Most men have a neutral or negative perception of feminism these days. They don't see it as automatically good anymore. Most men want reforms around alimony and child support laws. Most men believe in mandatory paternity testing. Most men have given up on beliefs of, well, she didn't like me immediately, but maybe I can win her over. Or maybe if I buy her a drink. Most of those mindsets men have given up on. This is due to the influence of red pill. Even with black pill concepts, don't let the mainstream gaslight you. Everybody's looks maxing out here. Everybody is aware now that a woman's gaze is very carnal. You can't win every battle, but you need to be looking your best out here. You need to be following a good diet. You got to present the best product you can offer. Everyone is agreeing upon that now. No one, they may not say it to your face, but no one is really hedging their bets on their personality alone anymore. So it's very hard for me to believe that red pill is dying. In fact, there was a very concerted effort to get many red pill personalities out of here. Chiefly Andrew Tate, because of the influence he had on younger audiences. And that's mainly what they're afraid of, because the younger audience is their next crop of cash cows that they can exploit through the debt systems that are set up in this society. Normally, the organic way that a man would be led to fall into one of these traps is usually through his pursuit of a woman. Women are used in modern society as catalysts to lead men into various financial obligations that chiefly benefit the state. Red pill and black pill have damaged these social engineering efforts in a way that I don't think this society is ever coming back from, but they're trying their hardest to sway men back in the other direction. So here I'm going to be looking at red pill is dead and something better is here. Well, we'll take a look at what that something better is.
The red pill is finally dead. Video by Ty's Corner. Okay, let's go ahead and check this out, man. Oh, yeah.
Charlie, I just think, honestly, you're too stupid to understand them.
Your wife has 3 baby daddies and has been married twice before.
And you...
Oh, shit! I didn't know that!
I actually didn't know that either. Can someone in the comments tell me, did Andrew Wilson get as much ridicule for this coming out as Donovan Sharp did back when he was exposed? I'd be curious to know.
I didn't fuck 3 baby daddies?
Your wife has 3 baby daddies and has been married twice before.
And you...
I didn't know that! Wow, Andrew Williamson, something like that. God damn. The red pill Christ crusader?
You lick
sniz.
Under your religion.
You lick sniz.
What does that
You're fucking... Don't talk shit about my wife, you stupid...
Oh.
Yeah, he lost it because he got called out for being a hypocrite. But I mean, most brads are. But I wanted to point out here is, you know, too many white men get credited for pioneering the red pill space. I don't really agree with that talking point. I think the red pill started with The Art of Macking by Tariq Nasheed, way before Rollo Tomasi. I don't want to take up too much time on that point, but I think there's a long history of brads taking things from black men. Even when you talk about pickup, I feel like pickup is rooted in what brothers were already doing and white guys tried to co-opt it. Even this whatever podcast ripped off Fresh and Fit. You know, that's their formula. They made it first.
All right, great comeback. Oh, well, you're gay. You're gay. Wow.
Shut your mouth. It's because I'm better than you, Charlie.
No, it's because you're embarrassed and you know that the traditional values that you try to sell people on are bullshit because you are not a traditional
Again, shocker. Brad not living up to what he preaches.
man.
Ooh, fuck. Ooh, fuck. Ooh, fuck.
Brothers, I'm just having a little fun in the editing room. I thought the placement of that meme there was... it was questionable, but I know that wasn't intentional.
I am a goddamn alpha male. Yes, I said it, alpha male. I don't care if you think that's toxic.
People look at me as soon as I walk in and they're like, who is this guy? I look like I'm going to hurt somebody.
I don't know why guys like this get associated with red pill. People like this have always existed. I believe the Gen Xers called them tools. I know my generation, the millennials, called them douchebags. But these guys have always existed. Maybe red pill gave them a bigger platform, but they didn't invent them.
You do not have to accept her rejection.
Well, for Brad, that's true, because police officer Brad's gonna let him off the hook. For brothers, we definitely need to accept her rejection. We don't have to internalize it, but we do need to accept it. And with that being said, there has always been 2 red pill spaces. There's whatever the hell Brad's teaching, and then there's what's relevant to black men, and I think that's perfectly fine.
It's no secret that the red pill movement is pretty much in the grave at this point.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'm glad. It's safe to say the red pill movement doesn't need any introduction. But if you don't know, it's about personal awakening and learning the truth about what life is outside of what's considered the Matrix.
Right.
I'm sure a red pill connoisseur is punching the air and yelling at me about that explanation, but...
Of course, because red pill is a religion. It's a cult. And
No. A cult typically demands something of you. Like, you can make a greater argument that feminism's a cult because it's demanding of women that they renounce their traditional role that society's laid out for them, whether you agree with that or not. Red pill, in its truest sense, has always just been an alternative stream of information that is targeted towards men that they wouldn't otherwise receive through mainstream channels such as school, mainstream media, etc.
And much like many religions and many cults, if you ask the people who are a part of it to define it, you will oftentimes get different definitions. I mean, niggas still call me red pill. Like when I say shit like, hey, do what you want and don't let your wife boss you around. I hear, ooh, Don, that's manosphere content. No, because I believe the same is true for the women in the relationship. It's like, we're adults. We're individual adults. I shouldn't lose rights by getting married.
No. While that sounds politically correct to say, the reality is everybody just doing whatever they want is not a relationship. It's damn sure not a marriage, because a marriage implies some type of shared vision or compromise in how you want to live your life. That's why it's a partnership. And though you may feel like you shouldn't have to lose your rights, legally you will. Most importantly, it's going to be your right to sole ownership of your assets. So if you are going to sign that type of legal agreement, I would hope at the very least that your wife didn't have the mindset of I should be able to do whatever I want.
My first introduction to the red pill was VH1's The Pickup Artist, which was probably everyone's first introduction without them even realizing.
Nope, never seen this.
Well, that's something we can agree on. I've never seen this either. Could someone in the comments help me? When did that come out? I'm like a middle of the road millennial, so like early 90s birth. I have never seen this show before.
If you had your own TV and the only thing your parents were worried about you watching was HBO after 12 a.m. for obvious reasons, your only other choice is to get that same hit of dopamine were Girls Gone Wild commercials. VH1, MTV, BET.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to watch this shit growing up. MTV, BET. Yeah, I had an older cousin. He would watch it, and I would like do that thing where you kind of like stand in the doorway.
Yes, and I remember sneaking and watching the unedited Nelly Tip Drill music video. What does this have to do with Red Pill?
You know what I'm saying? And I'll be watching it, and then my mom would see me and be like, what are you doing?
Uncut. And Tila Tequila on Howard Stern. Howard Stern was the first Adam 22, come to think of it.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not a Howard Stern fan. If you guys didn't know, Howard Stern went to like an integrated school when he was a kid. And a lot of black kids made fun of him, so he used his platform when he got older to try and make fun of black men. That's why he often depicted us as poorly in bad faith as he possibly could over the years. And just some petty stuff, like, oh, I don't think Magic Johnson's actually 6'9". Like, why do you care, bro? Like, why even waste your time talking about that? And then he'll have Robin on the show, Akeisha, to try and justify, oh, I'm not racist. You know, I've got Robin here. It's Brad and Keisha working together, always.
I don't need to get baptized again, bro. So anyway, The Pickup Artist. The Pickup Artist was my first introduction to Red Pill content, being a middle schooler. The purpose of the show was to help men find success in cold approaching women. Harmless in the grand scheme of things. Fast forward to more current times, the Red Pill looks very, very different.
Yeah.
In the worst way possible. It went from peacocking, building your confidence, and at least having to actually approach women in person, to men providing sound advice to other men about improving themselves, to whatever the hell this is.
Guys who know me know I've talked about penis pumps for a while. So I'm here on YouTube, guys. This is not even FitX Talks. I'm going to tell you guys the truth about penis pumps.
I've been talking about penis pumps for a while is a crazy statement.
I'm going to skip ahead because he talks about penises for a while here, and that's not really what I'm here to discuss. I also don't really consider this red pill either. Companies have been marketing penis solutions to men since the beginning of time. That's not uniquely a red pill thing.
You better have a bad bitch. You better be ripped. You better fucking be rolling some sick shit. That's what I like. I grew up hustling. There's be ribs on my goddamn Phantom.
Again, muscle manlets have always been around. The red pill didn't invent personalities like this. There was actually a guy who lived in my neighborhood like this a long time ago. He used to always talk about submission holds and how much of a badass he was. Funny story is, eventually he found out his wife was stepping out on him, and he proceeded to break her arm. So don't let anybody try to depict black men as this violent group. Brad's out here doing his thing too. But that might be another video.
Let's take you, for example, and me, and we both pull up, and we go to your girl. Okay. Odds are, I'm gonna take that.
Guys, watch out. He's the one that's gonna take your girl.
If you could pair...
And like how he says it, you know what I'm saying? Is like, even how he says bitch. You feel me? Like, I feel like, you know, black guys, black people. I've been trying to use the word bitch a lot less in regards to women, especially, to be real with you. Like,
to be honest with you, I hear women say bitch way more than any man of any demographic these days.
To you, you're not gonna win that battle. So next time you think that your girl's on lock, I got the keys to the castle, mother.
Your girl's on lock?
I don't see this as red pill either. First of all, he's marketing a product. Second of all, I just see this as an example of Brad co-opting black male slang to appear more masculine. Again, this is nothing new.
Oh my God, they can't stop speaking like us.
Penis pumps.
Meat
a far cry from what it was, and to be honest, it's the biggest display of insecurity I've ever seen on or off the fucking internet. It seems as if it's focused on being as intimidating as possible, having the baddest arm candy money could buy, and just being this mythical Herculean alpha male.
Sure.
The concept of being an alpha male is not even a real thing in the first place.
Really?
It was popularized by David Metch, who co-opted the term from Swiss wolf expert and ethologist Rudolf Schenkel, who first introduced the term in 1947. And since then, David Metch himself has debunked this concept.
The term alpha isn't really accurate when...
So this is a guy we gotta blame for red pill shit? This is the guy who invented the term alpha male, okay?
Describing most
or alpha,
the leaders of wolf packs, because the term implies that the wolves fought and competed strongly to get to the top of the pack.
Right.
In actuality, the way they get there is merely by mating with a member of the opposite sex, producing a bunch of offspring, which are the rest of the pack then, and becoming the natural leaders that way, just like with a pair of humans producing a family.
Wow.
That actually doesn't debunk anything. That's how red pill uses the alpha male archetype. Typically, it's a man that is preferred by women, typically due to looks, and this crosses over to the Chad archetype in the black pill as well. And yes, over time through reproduction, that is how the alpha male gains influence, but that initial influence that allowed that archetype to reproduce, usually being looks, money, status, etc., as promoted in red pill philosophies, that is what men chase, who are kind of stuck in that negative feedback loop of trying to be alpha. And I will admit that's a problem, but I don't think they're misinterpreting the alpha male definition, and I actually think the original coiner of the phrase that they quoted before is sort of giving a misleading explanation. Yes, that is how you ultimately get there, but something got you there to begin with, and I think that's what red pill and black pill are talking about mostly.
Phases of this
so that's the real way alphas are created? They just become a dad? That's it? They're just dads, the alpha?
Again, no, that's not it. They became dads through sexual preference. The sexual preference is due to them being quote-unquote alpha. There's a process flow there.
The alpha of a wolf pack is just the dad? Okay.
Journey that men go through. You have your vulnerability phase, where you are binging the content and fully immersing yourself in everything that is red pill.
Okay.
The radicalization phase, where you're now obsessed with the content, and more often than not, it's manifesting through your actions, the way you talk, or like this.
Why is it okay for women to say, oh, you're 5 feet on dating sites? You should be dead. That's okay?
said that to you here? Nobody.
Women in general have said it on dating sites.
I didn't realize this guy was the host of a Red Pill podcast. I'm pretty sure this was just a short guy who probably has a degree of PTSD, having to live life at 5 feet tall. That is a very difficult existence, I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh my gosh. Oh God. Jesus Christ, this is so cringe.
Well, DJ Academics needs to leave the Instagram thoughts alone. If they didn't want you when you were broke, I would not be dealing with them now. But that's just me.
Ooh, this is bad.
Y'all like bodybuilders?
Bodybuilders?
Yeah.
I like skinny, scrawny guys.
Y'all-
How about multimillionaires? Just and thick.
She just fucking shattered this guy's ego, bro.
And I run a 6-minute mile. My testimony, I'm nothing but pure.
6-minute mile. I don't know about that.
And I ask you if you want to be in the YouTube channel.
What I will say, and this is a problem with Red Pill that I think Black Pill actually does better, is men need to let go of their need to chase female validation and accept the fact that women typically like what they like. A lot of times it's going to be superficial, if not nonsensical, and it is not really a reflection of you as a person. It is a reflection of what they see as valuable. Oftentimes, it's not going to come down to how intelligent you are, or how accomplished you are, or what your body looks like a lot of times, or how muscular you are. A lot of times, it's going to come down to things that are often simple, like, well, I like guys with blonde hair. I like guys with blue eyes. I like guys who are tall. You know, you look like that one actor I like on TV. A lot of times it just comes down to simple stuff like that, and that sort of unlocks the female's ability to pursue romantic interest in the man. And I think men are led astray a lot by that, and that's really what creates the red pill rage, because they invest in certain aspects of their life thinking, oh, this will help me with women, only to find out that women will oftentimes decide based on whatever they see fit. Like you could probably sit on the couch and do nothing with your life and still have access to a certain amount of women based on how you look or carry yourself. That's why I don't really agree with BGS's all relationships are transactional, and I don't really agree with promoting conversations about colorism and, you know, Sergeant Willie Pete's take on the educated lame, because, you know, value is in the eye of the beholder. You don't really need to focus your life around what the majority of women want. You only really need one woman to say yes. And as much as women being completely hive-minded is promoted, it's not true across all demographics. If most of you brothers take care of yourself, there will be women who say yes.
And the last phase of the red pill journey is the individual deciding to leave the red pill, reevaluating everything they previously learned. The problem is, some men don't make it to this phase, and they end up being stuck and obsessed with the content they consume.
Right.
Or, if you're a content creator and you've built your following around phase 2, it's not easy to transition.
I don't even know how you can continue to consume red pill content endlessly, though, because it's just the same shit over. Like, even before Fresh and Fit went off on their like crazy tangent into being white supremacist political fucking grifters, you know, I used to think, okay, all right, I get the appeal of the show. Same thing with Kevin Samuels. You know, I get the appeal of the show, but there's no way the same people are watching this shit every fucking day for like months, because it's the same thing every night. You know what I'm saying?
I used to think it was repetitive too, but when I think about it now, I think we need the repetitiveness, because feminist channels and anti-male channels are always spewing out content. So we need the counter argument readily available via large volumes of content. So I don't really mind the repetitiveness. Like, one thing I like about AC's channel is its constant receipts, its constant history, its constant counter arguments because the divestors don't stop. The feminists don't stop. The simps don't stop. If we just made like one video and then never made another video, they would just keep cranking out content and eventually they would mute us out because there would just be so much of their content and none of ours. Not to mention that we're playing catch up because AC is correct when he says for the last, really the totality of modern media has been feminist leaning. It's just now due to the internet that men are finally getting their say and their perspective out there. So I'm thankful for the repetitiveness. Even Myron Gaines, as much as I'm not a Myron Gaines supporter, what he's doing with Akash Singh, I see value in that, because if he wasn't doing that, Akash Singh would just be freely lying to his audience about the dynamics of marriage and the dynamics of his marriage. I'm happy that people are out there calling him out on his BS because he had so much to say about black men who date out or don't want Keisha to be their primary preference, when it's like, dude, you basically bought your wife. You aren't her preference. The only reason she's with you now is because those Chris Hemsworth looking frat boys didn't want her. So, like, let's be real here.
Content. And more often than not, it's too late, because a lot of these content creators in this space have damaged their reputation beyond repair.
That's not a thing. There's no such thing as your reputation damaged beyond repair. Maybe if you like touch kids or some shit like that, but we see people, you know, I mean, just look at Trump, bro. Just look at Trump. Look at Andrew Tate. You know what I'm saying?
You could throw Brett Kavanaugh in there as well, but truth of the matter is those men were not convicted in a way that was convincing to the general public. There wasn't sufficient evidence. So that's why those men were able to recover.
So if you're following along here, they enter in phase 1, transition to phase 2, fuck up their reputation. They know their reputation is fucked. So now the only thing they have left to do is grift and sell you a course about how to be an alpha male, which prevents them from entering phase 3. Because once phase 3 starts, the following might leave, the views might drop, and now you're putting fries in the bag, which, according to alpha male and red pill ideology, is not so alpha. So unless you rebrand yourself, you're now stuck in this cycle of cosplaying Vince McMahon. A lot of reasons why this content is popular in the first place: men not having success in the dating market, men not feeling respected by women, a lack of a mentor in their life, or just difficulty navigating who they think they need to be as a man. For some men, it's just simple as they're just scared of rejection, or they've internalized how other men have been rejected. But that leads them to say things like, a woman will never love you for you, or the average man doesn't have a chance, which I don't agree with, because you can go to any mall, shopping outlet, inexpensive dinner spot, park, whatever, and see happy couples there walking, holding hands, having a great time.
Yeah.
So I chalk that up to certain.
Yeah, some tells me this guy, this dude right here, he is neither 6 feet tall nor makes 6 figures. And he's got a little shorty on his arm. How'd he do that?
Men just being chronically online.
Well, to be fair, I don't know how old this kid is. He looks like he's 19. I also don't know how tall he is. He looks like he's not really that short in that clip. I also don't know how he acquired that woman. For all you know, he's the most popular kid in his school. I mean, that room doesn't exactly look empty to me.
And I'm specifically focused on some of the Red Pill's views on women here, because a lot of the content is created with the end goal in mind of helping a man get the woman he desires. That's what it comes down to. Cheeks.
Right.
Just cheeks. And it does this by putting men on a path to be high value. And on top of that, unfortunately, a lot of men tie their self.
Yeah, man, when men can't get pussy, bad things start to happen.
Hey, man, sometimes when guys get pussy, bad things happen. I mean, think about where Mike Tyson would be right now if he never met Robin Gibson. Think of where OJ would be right now if he never met Nicole Brown Simpson. Think of where Tory Lanez would be right now if he never met Meg the Stallion. Think of where Jonathan Majors would be right now if he never had met that blonde chick. See, that is what I feel the true application of red pill ideology is. It's teaching men how to protect themselves. Society at large is never going to teach you that, because society is low-key banking on you making some of the mistakes with women that society benefits off of financially.
They can have a great career, a support system, etc., and still feel worthless or lonely because they lack an intimate connection with a woman.
Sure.
How things are today with social media constantly telling you you're not working hard enough,
you're
not making enough money to support some unrealistic lifestyle.
You're not.
You don't look good enough. It's
You don't.
pretty easy to understand why a lot of men and women are mentally checked out. This depression for men sometimes evolves into an us versus them mentality. Hating women without realizing they hate women, being abusive, saying all women are hoes, or for some of us, throwing dick around everywhere. Dating apps like Tinder, Hinge, and Bumble, which are all primarily made up of men, have made it easy to window shop.
Isn't that crazy? All of these dating apps are fucking sausage fests, bro.
Dating options and just swipe into the void. Corn is super accessible now with Twitter and Instagram being the main facilitators.
Really?
Just pick your favorite female influencer and there's...
Alright, brothers, I'm going to cut to the chase here because this video is getting pretty long and I'm getting kind of tired of Will and Carlton here. First of all, Red Pill did not get popular because men were lonely and using Tinder too much. Red Pill became popular because most men under 40 collectively realized that we've been lied to by society. We grew up being taught things like men and women are equal, yet we were subjected to a school system that favored women. We were subjected to a legal system that favored women. We were also subjected to a media that favors women, and we were subjected to a job market that favors women. Collectively, men started coming together and discussing these issues and developing solutions because that's what men do. We don't get online and simply complain. We are builders, so we start looking for what the solution is. For example, men have abandoned the positive outlook of the stepfather because too many of us grew up watching men getting taken advantage of who were in that role. So collectively, we've decided against it. It's not because we can't handle her past and we're insecure. It is a risk to us financially. Likewise, men have come together and collectively decided that too many ex-boyfriends is a problem, as well as too many guy friends. This isn't because we're insecure. It's because too many men have encountered situations or heard of situations where that didn't work out so well. Me personally, I have never met a woman who had a lot of guy friends or ex-boyfriends who didn't have some kind of sketchy sexual history with at least one of them. Many men do not trust HR because, let's be honest, when has HR ever sided with a man? Many men do not trust mainstream media for the same reason. Let's face it, Michael Irvin got accused of sexual assault when the incident was on camera proving he didn't do anything, and he was still suspended, and the media still reported it as a possible sexual assault, despite them not even knowing if it had actually happened. And luckily, he was able to later countersue and make a lot of money, and that's what I suggest brothers do if that situation happens to them. But just the fact that the media was willing to lose out on millions of dollars when they could have simply reserved judgment and let the camera footage speak for itself speaks volumes to me. And many other men as well. And you know what really gets me, brothers? They want to promote this attitude that Red Pill is dead when plenty of Red Pill channels still exist and are still successful. They simply rebranded after Fresh and Fit got demonetized and started just calling themselves dating advice channels. You know, not Red Pill, just dating advice. Like MTR is a great example of this. It's the same show that it was back when he was hanging out with Kevin Samuels and calling himself Red Pill. He just simply rebranded and said, well, it's more dating and marriage advice and my general observations. but it's through a red pill lens all the same. And that's no disrespect to MTR. I like the show. I'm just saying that was a product of red pill ideologies. Even neutral channels will co-opt red pill talking points. Like, how many channels have you seen recently criticizing the Akash Singh situation? That critique of Akash Singh's marriage is one born out of red pill ideology. What are we really saying there at its core? We're saying a woman's dating history and her past definitely matter. That's what everybody's saying. They just won't call it red pill. And I've even seen videos like that on Young Don React's channel. So even he is not above co-opting red pill talking points. It's simply become a no-no to say, yes, this is a red pill channel. See, when Kevin Samuels died, the reason you saw Keisha's dancing is because they thought we were all just gonna shut up and go back to the plantation. But in reality, that brother changed the course of black gender conversations forever. And it's my opinion, personally, that his greatest achievement in that space was exposing that most black women leave their men electively. They are not just left high and dry because black men are no good. They simply don't see a lot of value in long-term relationships where you have to adhere to a man. They would rather be single mothers. And he allowed Keisha's to cleverly expose themselves. Brothers, I promise you, the world was watching that. But that's enough for one video. Brothers, thanks for watching.